Yo, so let me guess. You want to make indie games, but you don't know where to start? Don't even trip, baby. I got you. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Pack Stacks from Wise Bear Games. Today, we're going to answer that age-old fucking question. Unreal Engine versus Unity. But it's not age old because we're talking about 2023, baby. Let's get into it. Make sure you smash that like and sub. Oh, and make sure you grab the demo for Bandits. That bitch is out right now. Let's go, baby. I got something special for you today. As always, I'm not gonna spend a bunch of time talking, you know what I mean, like I'm doing right now. I'm gonna jump right into this shit. So you got Unreal Engine versus Unity in 2023. What is the best choice for you, right? And so again, these are just a few points. I'm a beginner game designer, and I'm just showing you guys, you know, what has really worked for me, and I won't be too biased towards Unreal. So anyway, the first question that you need to ask yourself is like, what are you making, bro? Like, what are you making? And I want to preface this by saying that there are free versions on both sides. So I might not be speaking to these huge teams. I'm more so speaking to like smaller development teams, just trying to show you that there are free versions on both sides. So like, you really don't have an excuse not to be doing game development, okay? So knowing that, what are you making? You know, are you making a AAA project by yourself, which is totally feasible? Fuck it, it's 2023, bro. You can do whatever you want to do. Both engines at this point are creating very AAA quality graphics. It's just more so, what are you more comfortable in, right? So let's look at some examples of games that have been created with both of these, right? So for Unity, you know, you got Cuphead, and it's gonna range drastically, you know what I mean? I think Unity gets a bad rap for having like 2D games and things of that nature, but if you look at the most recent build of Unity, it's been gas, bro. Like, just gas games. Everybody's coming hard, and a lot of these games I didn't even know were made with Unity, bro. Especially, I didn't know Rust was made with Unity. You have to think about the graphics that they're pushing now, bro. That shit looks crazy. And I'm sorry for not putting a bunch of like actual visual videos, but on my next version of this video I will do that. But I just wanted to give you guys a really quick representation of a few games that are made in each engine, right? So you got Escape from Tarkov, another high quality banger, right? You know the physics, you know the 3D textures in that game. It looks fire as fuck, right? All the way to a very stylized game like Fall Guys. Again, I had no clue that was made in Unity, right? It's these very cool, stylized, colorful games. I know a lot of Nintendo Switch games are made with Unity. If you follow any indie developers, one of my favorite indie developers, Thomas Brush, I know he uses Unity, right? And so, I mean, there's a vast number of indie developers who use Unity, right? I mean, this was made by an indie team as well, Subnautica. That shit is fire, bro. So you have really cool games made in Unity. Again, we're just kind of flying through here. Want to get in here in a few minutes, just give you guys a quick scope of both engines so you can make the choice for yourself, right? So let's move on to Unreal. My bias, I mean, let's start with just a few games that everybody's gonna have somewhat of like a knowledge base for, right? So Fortnite. Everybody knows Fortnite. That bitch comes straight from Epic Games, built in Unreal Engine. I mean, it's fire, but everybody plays Fortnite. You know what that shit looks like. And again, it's not like it's this revolutionary textured game. It just looks fire and it runs flawlessly for the most part, right? And so that was built in Unreal Engine. Again, not too crazy on the graphics, but just showing the reach where you can go from a game like Fortnite all the way up to a very super realistic game like Ark, or all the way down to Gears of War, right? All three of these products were created in the Unreal Engine. I'm really trying to hold my bias back. I'm sorry, they're probably gonna get me in the comments. But I think at this point, you really cannot even tell a difference, bro. That's the crazy part. I'm starting to lose my bias because you can't even tell a difference at this point in the game who is making what on what engine, right? So once you decided what you want to make, you want to go out there and find some examples. Look, okay, this game was made in this engine. This is the style I'm going for. That's what I'm going to do. You know, that's the way you want to attack your project, right? So after that, you want to say to yourself, yo, can you code? So Unity is in C#, right? Where Unreal is in C++. So if you can't code, that's really not a problem, and we'll get to that point in a second. But if you can code and you already, inherently know one of these languages, it may be beneficial to just dive into something that you're already familiar with. Whereas if you're kind of green and you don't really know either language, it may be an opportunity for you to dabble in both and see which one you kind of like recollect with more. And so then from there, you know, you'll be like, all right, I really fuck with C++. Like, I'm gonna make a whole game in C++. Dope. Or you can be like, I really fuck with C#. Sharp. That's cool too. And the alternative is you don't fuck with either of them, and that's cool too, because the cool thing about both of these engines, again, is that they both offer visual scripting techniques. Now, I'm not sure what Unity offers. I think the last time I checked in about a couple years ago, it was Vault, and I know Unreal Engine offers Blueprints, which is like, bro, that shit revolutionized the way I do game development. I mean, it's literally so visually, you just hooking up nodes and shit, dog. Like, it's so easy, and it makes game development and design kind of like go hand in hand. Now, I'm sure Unity has the exact same structural setup with whatever they're using to curate their things. Once again, I can only speak from my experience in Unreal, right? And I know that Blueprints, again, has revolutionized the way I make games. So that may be for somebody else who needs to use the visual scripting in Unity, because you just can't get coding. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a fucking programmer, right? I inherently am not a programmer. I say this all the time. Inherently, I'm a designer. I like to take assets or make my own assets from, like, you know, a program like Character Creator or Blender or what have you, and put them into a pre-designed structural system. Now, once I get in there, I know the basics enough of Blueprints to curate a lot of my own systems, and that's due to, and I speak about this all the time, utilizing assets, right? Because I bought all these different assets, I kind of have like a way better understanding of how to use even Unreal coding now. So one, don't be afraid to use assets, and two, understand that both of these engines offer visual scripting. So don't let coding be something that keeps you from learning game development, right? How many more do we have here, guys? Okay, so, and then what is your hardware situation? Okay, so I try to break this down into 3 separate categories, right? You got your indie hardware, right? Your AAA hardware, and then your consumer hardware, right? So you have to see what is your hardware. You do not, and being very true to yourself, I see a lot of people hopping on Unreal Engine 5, and it's like, bro, how much RAM do you have? Did you go and see the specifications for that? Because bro, I'm still in 4.27. I'm not moving over to 5 until I have like enough processing to make it worth it. And that's the thing, like, I don't make fucking super AAA graphic games, right? But I love the way Unreal Engine makes me feel when I develop, even though I'm still making low poly games, you know what I mean? So it's all about what works for your situation. I mean, recently, and I just got the MacBook with the M2 chips, and I put Unreal Engine 4.27 on there. It runs like candy, bro. Excuse me. Too much weed, but I think the situation is, it depends totally on you. It totally depends on who you are as a developer and what the situation is with your hardware, right? Maybe you might prefer to work on Mac, so you want to work on Mac, but a lot of the plugins that are working in Unreal Engine were designed for Windows, right? So you may not be able to open them in your Mac, and I had that same issue. But what I will say, the cool thing is about having, you know, 2 separate operating systems, where you have like a desktop or you have like a laptop, I'm able to prototype out a lot of my ideas in Unreal Engine 4.27 on my MacBook, bring it down to the basement when I know it's time to either build or get a little more serious about development, right? And so you can have that same situation with Unity. It doesn't matter, but you just have to cater to your specific hardware situation. If you do not have the hardware to make a AAA indie game, or a AA or a double, whatever the fuck you want to call it, don't do that. Use what you have and make the best of that, and you'll see what comes from that. And that's a whole different topic, right? But if you find yourself, the core here is use what you have, right? And you'll make room for what's coming, okay? So again, what is your hardware situation, guys, okay? And I believe this is my last point here, is try both. You need to try both, right? I try both. That's the only reason I can make this video, is because I tried both and I just fuck with Unreal. Simple. It's simple as that, bro. It's not any, it's a bias now because I've used it for over 2 years. But in the beginning, it was like, fuck, I'm using both of these, trying to opt out what's gonna work for me. And I just stumbled into Unreal, and that's really what has helped me to develop as a designer, as a developer, whatever, right? But go into it with an open mind. Do not be biased. If you need to try some other shit too, there's hella fucking engines. We're just talking about Unreal and Unity right now, right? So try both with an open mind. And then once you dibble and dabble enough, pick one and just stick to it. Make a project through the end, make some shit, dabble in there, prototype, and you'll see what happens, right? You won't know unless you stick with it for at least 90 days to 6 months minimum, right? Spend the next 6 months develop. You don't have to even make a full project, but I'm going to work in this engine for the next 6 months and see what happens, all right? I believe, ooh, I got hair in my mouth. I believe that's it. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I hope I'm gonna get back over here. I really hope that helps you guys when making your decision, you know, what game engine between those two is for you. I mean, the possibilities are endless in both, and at the end of the day, in 2023, it's all about what is gonna work for you. So again, try both, and I hope you find something that works for you. I love you guys. Wishlist Bandits. I'll see you next week. Yes, sir, ski.